Hi everybody. He set out in search of someone to save. Expeditious climbed for 3. That is happened with Barack Obama, and welcome back to my channel. So this weekend I'm participating in the Stay-at-Home Reading Rush hosted by Ariel Bissett and Raylene LeMay, and I am super excited to be part of this challenge. I think it's great that they're doing an extra reading rush now that we're all staying home. So the challenges for the reading rush are to read a book with a house on the cover, read a book in the same room the whole time, read a book set somewhere you wish you could go, and read a book that will make you smile. So out of those, I have chosen 2 books to read on this reading rush. This is On My Own Terms by Readathon. This book is a memoir, and I actually got to see Vasu talking at my college. She was reading some of this book and talking about her experiences. So this book is going to cover the challenges of pick a book with a house on the cover, and this was the closest thing I had to a house on a cover of any of the books that I own. So I picked this one, as well as pick a book set somewhere you wish you could go. A lot of this is set in India, and I've always wanted to go to India, so that's 2 of the challenges. And this is Raising Demons by Shirley Jackson. This is actually the second part to a kind of memoir series that Shirley Jackson wrote, and I read the first part of this last year. It was one of my favorite books last year. It's called Life Among the Savages, and this is the follow-up to that. And this is for the prompts: read the book in the same room at the whole time you're reading it, and I'm going to be reading this book here in my room the whole time. And I also have the challenge, read a book that will make you smile. And knowing how much I loved the other book in the series, I'm pretty sure this book is going to make me smile. Also because these stories that she tells are very funny and enjoyable stories. So anyway, that's my TBR for the challenge. Today is day 1 of the readathon, so I am going to do my best and read as much as I can today. We were also given photo challenges to do every single day. Today's photo challenge was to take a picture in your favorite spot to read. And if you're interested in seeing all the pictures that I take for this reading challenge, my Instagram will be linked below, but it's also at life.of.a.librarian. So if you're interested in following me, go ahead and do that, and you'll be able to see all the pictures I take during the challenge. Alright, so I am here in the kitchen. I am listening to my audiobook, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some cookies. Alright, so we're gonna do a little family reading time. My mom and my brother are not doing the challenges exactly, but they are gonna be participating in some reading. So I'm gonna work on My Own Terms by Readathon. What are you reading?
I'm reading Scat by Carl Hyacin or something.
Alright, what are you
And I'm reading Farewell to Manzanar, which is a book about the Japanese internment camps in 1942 during World War II. And I was not excited about reading this, but it ended up being very interesting so far.
Same for me!
3/4 of the way through.
Oh, so we're gonna get to reading. Currently doing the live read-in over on Hannah Witten's Instagram, and we're reading quietly, so I'll get back to it. Alright, so it is now about 5:15, and I have to admit I didn't do the best today when it comes to bulk reading, and I think that has to do with the fact that there were still some other things I had to do. I made cookies. I ended up taking a break from all the reading and playing Settlers of Catan with my family, as well as going for a walk because it was sunny today and I just wanted to get outside a little bit. But I just don't feel like I've done super well with reading today overall. I'm 41 pages into Raising Demons, and I'm only 9 pages into On My Own Terms, and that's because these pages are large and very packed. So when I was sitting down, you know, see, this is entirely text and it's a pretty large book. This might have been not have been the best choice for the readathon, but it was the only one that had a house on it, and it is something I really do want to read. But at this point, kind of seeing how the day went, I'm hoping that through the readathon I'll be able to finish this. I think that'll be doable, and this I might be able to get halfway into it or something like that. We'll just really have to see. I hope to be able to get more done of these tomorrow. But I also did the live read-in today, and I did a lot of filming today for this vlog and for other things. So hopefully I'll be able to get some more stuff done tomorrow and over the weekend. But right now I'm going to continue reading this book and try to make some headway in it. So yeah, so I just wanted to share with you why I love Shirley Jackson and why I love Raising Demons. There was a passage in here where Shirley did not wake up as early as she normally does in her house. She has 3 kids and a husband living in her house, and she didn't wake up as early as she normally does, and all of the kids left the house, and she just kind of wakes up and starts freaking out because no one is in the house. And then slowly, the kids start coming back in the house nonchalantly as if nothing had happened, and they start saying, well, I went to this person's house, I went to this person's house, I went to this person's house, I got breakfast from them, I told them that my mommy was not awake and she left me and I had to come get breakfast. It was just, it's so funny and ironic, and I love the kids in this book. I love the way that Shirley is so, she loves her children, but she's so like, she can't focus on anything. Like I just love it. And I kind of love the way that this book and also the one that came before this, Life Among the Savages, they both have this mix of hilarity, like these crazy things are happening and it's so funny, and the way she writes it is so funny, but it's also like really sad and unfortunate. It makes you really think. Like the husband in this book, he had nothing to say the whole time. He was like, "Oh, you're raising the children wrong," and it's terrible. Like the way he's treating his wife is terrible. But then again, it's also hilarious the way she writes it. So it's so conflicting, and that's what I love about her, because she can write funny stories and silly and cute stories, but she also is like the queen of horror. So I just love her, and I loved that little story, and I just wanted to share that with you because I love this book so much. Alright, so good morning. It is day 2 of the stay-at-home reading rush, and I have just showered and gotten ready for the day. I have my wonderful matcha latte to sip on, but I am not going to be able to start reading right away because I am still in school and I have a video chat class this morning, as well as some creative writing workshops that I have to attend to. So I will probably be convening on the reading after lunch, because, you know, I have all this stuff to do and then I'll probably have to make lunch also. So after lunch, I'll check back in with you and I will let you know how we're doing with reading. Alright, so you just saw my family and I had a little reading session, and I am on page 21 of On My Own Terms. I definitely need to kick it up into gear with this one. I'm really not getting far with it. But this one, I don't know, I feel conflicted because on the one hand, I broke one of the challenges already. I haven't been reading this in one room. I ended up getting the audiobook off of Libby, and my bookmark is currently at chapter 3 or page 137, and I have surpassed that when I was making lunch today. So I am probably nearly 200 pages into this book, and it's only just under 300 pages long. So I'm doing really great with this book, but at the same time, I've already kind of messed up my challenge. So I might have to add, you know, a different book into there in the mix somewhere and try to get that challenge achieved, because I don't think this book will be read all in this room or all in any room, because I've already read it in the living room and I know that I can't do all of my reading in the living room. So I might try to pick out a short book and try to do that as the challenge to read in this room. But we'll see how it goes, and I definitely need to get reading more with this one. But now is the time for the live read-in with Jessie the Reader, so I'm going to go get to that.
On the readingrush.com, and a portion of those sales will be going to charity.
So update, we're having technical difficulty with the live read-in and comments are turned off. So Jessie the Reader, we love you, but he's struggling right now. So the video started working again, comments were back on, everything was good, and Jessie had us do a 10-minute sprint where I read 3 or 4 pages, and he had us count how many times we saw the word "the" in our reading session. So I counted 31 "thes" in the session, which kind of slowed me down while reading, but it was kind of fun just to see how many times a single word repeats itself. But I'm glad the read-in went well, and it finally started working. Yay! Alright, so the live read-in with Jessie the Reader is over now, so I'm going to spend some time listening to my audiobook for Raising Demons, and I'm going to work on tidying up my room, and I'm also going to work on some editing for some vlogs that I have to do. So I will take you along with me, and I'll let you know what happens next. Alright, so in this little segment, I am going to do the My Life in Books tag. I was not tagged. I don't even know where this tag started, but it sounded like fun and I thought it would spice up the video. So the first question is pick a book for each of your initials. So my initials are H, R, and C. So I'm going to go to H, which is Haben by Haben Girma. This is a memoir that I have yet to read, but I am super excited about reading, so that's my H. Then I'm going to go for Room by Emma Donoghue. This is my R. My middle name is Renata, so Room. And do I have anything for C? Creating Flannery O'Connor. This is about Flannery O'Connor's critics, publishers, and her readers, and how she got kind of famous and canonized in the literary canon. So, also haven't read this. Out of these three that form my name, the only one I have read is Room by Emma Donoghue. So, that is my name in books. The next question is, count your age along your bookshelf. What book is it? Alright, so I am 19, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which was one of the 3 favorite books of 2019 for me. I love this book. I love how strange it is, and if you can't tell if the narrator is honest or she's kind of having mental illness problems, and it's really like funky and strange, and I love this book so much. So I'm so happy I got to pick it. Moving right along is pick a book set in your city/country. Let's see. I don't think I have any that are set in my city. Well, if we're going strictly by country, my favorite book of all time, The Fault in Our Stars, is set in the United States, where I live. So, just going to shout out this book because I know everyone has read it on the internet, and I know that everyone loves this book, or at least most people love this book, but it's still my favorite book of all time, and I own 3 copies of it somehow. So, just going to say, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green is my pick for book that's set in my country. So the next question is pick a book that is your favorite color. So I really like greens, light greens, and dark greens as well. We're going to go with The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein because this book has the light green and the dark green colors to it, and those are my all-time favorite colors. Also, this is just a beautiful, sweet book that is a children's book, but I still keep it on my shelf because it's very nostalgic to me. Next question is, which book do you have fondest memories of? And I'm going to go for this book, Surviving the Applewhites by Stephanie S. Tolan. I don't think I've mentioned this book on my channel before, but this is about a delinquent boy named Jake Semple who's been kicked out of all of his schools that he's tried to be in, and he goes to, as a last resort, this family who is a homeschooled family, and they are like radical homeschoolers. They plan all their own curriculum, and the main character, well, one of the main characters, E.D. Applewhite, she is a very strict and scheduled person. She schedules her schoolwork very strictly, and everyone else in the family is kind of all over the place. And it's about how they sort of learn from each other and can, you know, kind of figure out how to be less out there but also more out there depending on who it is, but they kind of find a happy medium, and it's one of my all-time favorite books, especially from childhood, but I still have really fond memories of reading this because when I read it like 4 or 5 times in a row. I was homeschooled and I didn't see a lot of representation for homeschooled kids in books, so when I saw this and the homeschoolers were super weird and out there like I was, I felt so connected to them. And I remember reading this and then going for like long bike rides. I lived in the middle of nowhere as a kid, so I would go for long bike rides and I would just like tell myself the story over again in my head. So this book was one of my all-time favorite books as a kid, still is, still love reading it, and I have the fondest memories reading this book. So the next question is, which book did you have the most difficulty reading? Let's see. Well, if we're going with strictly what's on my regular part of my shelf, there's not a lot, but of course, pulling from my stack of school books, it would be Hard Times by Charles Dickens. I did not enjoy this book. It was one of the more difficult books that I had to read that's currently on my bookshelf. I definitely was not a fan, so yes. Next question is, which book on your TBR pile will give you the biggest accomplishment when you finish it? So, to me, I feel like accomplishment often goes along with big book, and I think it would have to be this one. This is the complete stories of Flannery O'Connor. Flannery O'Connor is one of my all-time favorite authors. I'm currently working on a paper about her biographical association with her stories, and I have read multiple stories out of this collection, but once I have been able to say that I've read every single story in this collection, it's a giant book, and that will bring me so much accomplishment and achievement just having gotten through, gosh, how many pages is this? This is just about 600 pages of short stories. So when I get through this book, I'm going to be so excited. Alright, so that is the My Life in Books book tag. I hope you enjoyed this little segment, and back to your regularly scheduled programming. It is day 3 of the stay-at-home reading rush, and I'll be honest, I feel like I'm completely failing the reading rush. I have not done enough reading. I haven't been able to focus. I've been doing other things during the day, and it just hasn't been reaching the goals that I wanted to reach. That being said, I have had a lot of fun so far, connecting with friends, connecting with people who are doing the challenge, being with my family, baking, and going for walks. I went for a drive the other day with my dad, and I've been doing a lot of things that have been, excuse me, my throat, that have been enriching my life the past few days, and I think overall, it doesn't matter how much reading I'm doing or how many challenges I'm hitting. I think what it really matters, to me at least, is that I've been connected to the world and enjoying the past couple of days in a time when I've been really down and I've been really struggling to, have a positive outlook. So that is all I have to say about that. However, I am not a quitter, so I decided to change around my TBR so that I could most likely finish it. So I am still reading Raising Demons by Shirley Jackson. I am quite a way through this. I am 171 pages into it, and there is nearly 300 pages of the book. So I'm definitely going to be finishing this. The audiobook is very easy and great to listen to, and I might sit and read this also depending on what I want to do, but this will most likely become an audiobook read. So let's discuss On My Own Terms by Readathon. This book is very interesting, and I think it'll be a book that I genuinely will enjoy, or it might be a book that I will pick up and put down intermittently, because it's very packed with information. There's a lot going on in it. It is a memoir, but the pages are just so packed with text, and it's a pretty long book. It's, 300 pages. For me, with the amount of text and the size of the book, I just think it's too much for me to do in the next 2 days, considering that I only have 31 pages read of this book. I just don't think I can finish all of it in 2 days. That being said, I was talking to my mom about it, and she recommended that I pick up this book called The Bridge Home, which she read and absolutely loved. And she recommended it to me because, one, it's set in India, which would meet the challenge, a place I want to go, because this was also set in India. And it kind of also has buildings on it. I didn't realize that when I looked at it. Far in the distance, I don't know if you can see, far in the distance of here, there are buildings. There are houses, technically, but also the bridge is their home. They live under the bridge. So it might bend rules a tiny bit, but I'm willing to take it because this book is 200 pages long, and it is a middle grade book, and I think I can do this one, and it does fulfill the prompts. The last thing is that I have failed the prompt, read a book in the same room the whole time. This has become a book that I read all over the house because I'm listening to the audiobook. So I have decided to reread We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. It is a tiny little book. It's 50 tiny little pages. But I had been meaning to reread this anyway because I read it a couple of months ago. And I digested it, but I think I have a new perspective on certain things now. So I think I want to re-pick it up and see where it takes me. So this is my new TBR for the challenge for the next 2 days of the challenge. I think I can do it if I really put my mind to it and spend a lot of time reading. We got this. It's really gross and cloudy and disgusting outside, so I probably won't have much more light to work with today. It is nearly 5 o'clock, and I have completed The Bridge Home by Padma Venkatraman. Venkatraman? I think that's how you pronounce it. This book was extremely sweet, extremely cute, but also very thought-provoking and heartfelt. I really thought that it was just a wonderful story. It's about two little girls who are kind of in an abusive family dynamic. They run away, they find this community under this bridge, and they link up with these two boys who've been living there, and they form like a very familial type of relationship with them, and it's about them being able to get away from that family, find a new family, and discover how to be themselves and how to find who they really are, and in a world that's often cruel. So it's a really beautiful story, but my family and I ended up listening to it on audio, and we listened to the entire book straight. It was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours we were just listening to the audiobook together. But that one is done, and while I was doing that, I was working on some artwork, so I ended up drawing some anatomy. I really like drawing anatomy, so I was working on a hand and a leg. And then I did this figure drawing study. And then I also did this figure drawing study. So I was able to work through some of that while doing the audiobook, which was super fun. And while being in this room, I was able to finish We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, which again is only 50 pages. So that means I have completed the challenges of read a book set somewhere you want to go, as well as read a book with a house on the cover. And I have also completed the challenge for read a book in the same room the whole time. So the only challenge I still have to complete is read a book that will make you smile. And I'm currently sitting at page 171 out of 300 pages in Raising Demons. So I'm pretty sure I will be able to, oh, sorry, my mom is vacuuming downstairs, but I'm pretty sure I will be able to finish this book during the readathon. I might even try to maybe eke out some reading of a different book as well, just because I know that this isn't going to take me long to get through it all. So that's where I'm at right now, and I will update you when I have more news. Also, I did not participate in the live read-in today, unfortunately. I was in the middle of listening to the audiobook for this with my family when the read-in was happening. By the time I realized it, we were 30 minutes into the read-in, and I just decided I'd rather do what I was doing. So I skipped the read-in today, but tomorrow Ariel and Raylene are co-hosting the read-in together, so I'm definitely going to be participating in that. Good morning. It is Sunday. It is the 4th and last day of the stay-at-home readathon, and I am very excited because all I have left to do is I am at page 171 out of 300 pages of Raising Demons. So I only have about 100 pages left to go with this book, and then I'm done with the challenges. So it was a long journey. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but we're so close, we can do it. And it's also really, really beautiful outside, so I'm probably going to spend a decent amount of time outside. I'm going to be talking to some friends today, and yeah, it's going to be a good day. Hey guys, so currently I am doing the last read-in, the last live read-in on Instagram. This one is with Ariel and Raylene, and it's been super fun and enjoyable to get to hear their perspectives on the readathon since they do host it. But also I just love them, so I'm super happy to do this read-in. I am currently sitting at, if I can get my book, I'm currently sitting at page 215 out of 300 pages, and I'm so close, and I know I'm going to be able to finish it between the book and the audiobook. But I've just been spending some time outside, sitting with my family, and just kind of casually reading since I'm not feeling like I'm in that big of a rush anymore. But yeah. So it's getting a little bit dark. It's 7 o'clock, but I have officially finished Raising Demons by Shirley Jackson, which means that I've completed all of the challenges from the stay-at-home reading rush. So I'm sorry that I didn't film a lot today, but I spent my whole day outside enjoying the weather. I went for a drive with my mom, and I went for a drive with my dad, and obviously socially distant, didn't get out of the car, but had a super fun time doing that. I got to talk to a lot of friends today, and I got to finish the book. So I'm sorry I didn't show you much of what happened today, but take it from me, it was a super fun day, and I did finish all the challenges. So I'm really glad I got to participate in this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.